This is Fulcrum, a Star Wars podcast. Your way of tapping into the Force from a galaxy far, far away. Hello there.
Hello, what have we here? Here's where the fun begins.
Count me in.
Hello, everybody, and welcome in to Fulcrum, a Star Wars podcast. Today, we continue our Star Wars Rebels rewatch, and I'm so very excited as we're hitting Season 2, Episodes 5 and 6, titled Always Two There Are and Brothers of the Broken Horn. Episode 5 is written by Kevin Hopps and directed by Brad Rao. Episode 6 is written by Bill Wolkoff and directed by Saul Ruiz. It was released originally on October 28th, 2015 and November 4th, 2015, respectively. I'm Colton Robertson. I'm joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
Oh, what up, what up? Always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. And I always love looking at the air dates because Episode 5 being the Halloween episode makes a whole lot of sense. I'm very glad to find that. Because I loved that shit.
Man, yeah, we got. I didn't even know that in this episode. The voice of this seventh sister was just so cool, and just was the thing that I took away from the episode. And it's Daphne from Scooby-Doo. It's freaking
Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Yes, which is when I figured that out, I'm like, okay, this is kind of just epic. And then remembering that Fred and her are married is just kind of isn't that true? Is it
yes,
Fred
I believe
and her
so.
Married? Yes, yeah. Freddie Prinze Jr. and her married. So it's just, I don't know. It's very, very.
It's all
weird
in the
every time I
family.
remember that.
It's all in the family.
But man, no, this the little what is the little It's Lola, Leia's little itty bitty, but it's like the evil versions of them.
Yeah. The little probe that she has. Yeah, no, for sure. I loved the episode 5 there. I thought that, frankly, the music in episode 5 might be my favorite of any episode so far. It was fucking awesome. I love eerie Star Wars music because there's a vibe there, you know, that that piercing violin, that kind of it's almost Michael Giacchino in the Batman-esque, that like we were talking about with the Penguin a couple days ago, that piercing violin that comes through. I really dig it. It was a really strong episode. I've always enjoyed it, and I appreciate how much it opens the world up for the Rebels a little bit. You know, they didn't know any more Inquisitors existed. They thought it was just the guy they've dealt with, and instead they're getting a literal Hydra on their hands. You cut one head off, two heads emerge. So it's a nice little reality check for the Rebels, and that ending line whenever Kanan's like, we really have no idea what we're up against, and they're all like really grave. Like that's some good stuff. That's some good Star Wars. I love it.
Yeah, the crew, they kind of they come up to Kanan, they're like, dude, why didn't you tell us that there were more? And then Kanan's just sitting there like, holy fuck. He's like, I killed the one. I thought that was it, you know. I thought that would have been it. And
got to be a little solace taken in the idea that he did kill the one, though. You know, like the Grand Inquisitor, like that guy you were capable of taking. So anyone's after, you know, maybe they'll come in pairs, but you know, on paper, it's like the commutative property. You should be able to deal with them as well.
Yeah. I get this. The horror and all that stuff was good, but then also, I think this is like a kind of a good start of Ezra's arc here, where he's kind of going back and forth between all of his trainings, and he doesn't know where his kind of sect is, whether he wants to be a soldier with Rex, you know, training, blaster training, or Jedi training with Kanan, and then now, you know, I guess later on in the next episode with Hondo is pirate training, I guess.
Right.
But I think it's nice to see kind of Ezra just wanting to, I don't know, he wants to just do his own thing, but whenever this might be the second episode here, if I'm thinking. Yeah, because I think he just straight up escapes to go to Hondo there. But it was like Rex was trying to get him for blaster training. Kanan was trying to say, nope, now it's time for Jedi. And then
Hera's like, you got to clean.
Hera, Well, it was like in between that cleaning thing. It was there's a incoming message from somebody or something like that, and it's like rebel business, and instantly Ezra like takes sprinting off. And he's just like, yes, that is actually what I want to do. I just want to be a rebel. Like, and just I feel like everything else comes naturally. Like the Jedi training, all the things just kind of naturally make their way through if I don't know, just saving people and doing the right thing. But this is, man, I didn't even think about this episode kind of being released on Halloween, but it's, I don't know, that is really fun to keep track of the release dates, because it makes perfect sense. I wonder if I guess, is it weekly episodes that they're released? Just one every week? So yeah, we'll get like eventually, I wonder if they have like I don't know if they'll do anything for Thanksgiving, I guess would be like kind of the next one to come up.
Typically network TV also does a holiday break. They don't air during, so like they do have it during Thanksgiving season. But Christmas, they stop at December 9th and pick back up January 20th. So they skip that big old gap. But
okay.
Yeah, no, you bring up a really good point about the arc, the 2-episode arc that happens here for Ezra. It's one that I'd whenever I was making this list of episodes and I was pairing them off 2 and 2, I love when it's a happy accident. These episodes from the general premise point of view don't go together, but given what Ezra's going through, they work perfect as a little duo. It is a nice little arc that shows Ezra kind of finding himself and finding where he belongs, and I really appreciate that, because it has gotten a lot bigger. It has gotten a lot more serious, a lot faster, and it's something that I don't think he was prepared for. He's just a kid. It's not something anybody would be prepared for. I just wish things were simpler, I think is something he says, and yeah, man, like who can't blame him there? And I appreciate that ultimately, whenever he has the opportunity to do something simpler, his loyalty is too great, and it kind of clarifies what he wants to do, and I really appreciate that. It's a good little 2-episode arc, and obviously we get some fun characters, the fifth brother, seventh sister in the first episode. A couple cool Inquisitors to introduce, and I appreciate the dynamic they present as what the Inquisitors are beyond the Grand Inquisitor. The Grand Inquisitor was very well put together. He held it down. He knew what he was doing. There was no divided loyalties. But the rest of the Inquisitors getting trained into the dark side are trying their best to prove themselves, and they're vying for his spots. So they want to do better than each other, and they're competing against each other constantly, and they don't want the other to succeed, which is, it presents a really good opportunity for the rebels, obviously.
Yeah, and I kind of wanted to ask the Always Two There Are title here. Like that's more of a Sith rule, it feels like is what they're referring to, but Inquisitor wise, like there's much more than 2 at is, I guess, like even right now at this moment, are there more than 2? So there's just,
I think this is just a play on the amount in the episode, but
because as of right now in current, I guess if you were keeping up with Star Wars, you wouldn't know that there's more than, well, I guess Clone Wars is. Are there Inquisitors?
No, we barely even see Vader in Clone Wars.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, no, there's, hello, timeline-wise. Okay, yeah, no, so yeah, they're, I guess up to current date, these are the only Inquisitors.
Yeah, we would only have seen 3. Legends, the Inquisitors are involved a decent amount, so who knows how much somebody might have entered this show knowing, but I'm pretty sure canonically at this point, we would have seen this, like, in terms of timeline, second sister from Jedi Fallen Order, 11th sister from Jedi Fallen Order. Obi-Wan Kenobi presents us Reva, which takes place before this. So like I'm just thinking like there are a lot of characters who are involved in the Inquisitors that this show doesn't give us an opportunity to dive into, which I think is cool. It's it kind of keeps it in the family. There's like I feel like there's a few more Inquisitors that show up, but
yeah, I guess it's just if you meet them, you probably die, and that's probably just why they're not
very
known.
likely.
Yeah, it's just that they're not. They keep. Well, I guess they do kind of when they get to Tatooine in Obi-Wan, they do flaunt themselves. They're like, "Yo,
we've
we're
arrived
here." Yeah. But I don't know. At this point, I guess they're getting all that stuff in the works. But man, no, it is fun having them having to fight over, the kill. The kill is mine for Ezra or whatever, and then fine, it's their own hubris that allows them to escape. Zeb coming in clutch though. I guess
Zeb was real as fuck, and he needed this, man.
So,
he needed this bad. He was feeling like a little dummy. Nobody was making him feel like a smart guy, and he was like, you know what? I'm going to defeat 2 Inquisitors single-handedly. And I appreciate how much the kids shower him with like praise afterwards, like when they get back and they're like, if it wasn't for Zeb, we'd have been toast, and he's like,
it was a group effort. Yeah, he says like it's a group effort. Immediately tries to blow it off and like, oh come on, Zeb, no, dude, it was a good win.
And Rex, the guy who was taunting him at the beginning, is like, you did good, soldier. It's good stuff, man. I appreciate stuff like that. And Rex has been immediately a really fun addition to the crew. His little the beef him and Kanan have is extremely funny. I love their whole their dynamic is just so ridiculous, and I think it's super funny that both of them feel this urge. I mean, obviously Kanan feels this urge to teach Ezra, but Rex has this. I'm curious where this is coming from. Do you think it connects back to? I mean, he's been alone for a really long time with the clones that are his age, and he used to have to train clones, and it's just kind of what he's bred for. This is kind of what he does. So I like that. I like that they butt heads on how to approach it. Is he a soldier? Is he a Jedi? Is he a rebel? Is he and all of the above? I think it's cool that they're going to have to work together to instill some of this stuff in him. And the little hollow chess match that Rex and him play, and he's like, so you can learn discipline, and Kanan's like, fuck you, dude. Yeah. I don't think that you're not teaching. Yeah. You're not teaching me a fucking lesson right now. All right. I don't know if I like you more or less now. They've got
to. You gotta. I don't know. I guess it's just coming from a clone. I think is the only reason. But like Jedi wise, you can take any lesson from anywhere. It doesn't really matter where it comes from. But just I think it'll be nice to see, because I'm assuming that barrier's brought down with Kanan
a bit,
over time. And it's gonna be nice to see him finally just to accept that it's just the Empire. It wasn't them. It wasn't the clones. Rex shouldn't be to blame. But yeah, that the good old the hollow chess was fun. Just seeing him get like whooped, I guess at first, and then finally he wins. But does Rex let him win there? To teach him the lesson.
Right?
Or is it that he actually did? Well,
because he taught him the lesson, that's what Kanan's insecure about. He's like, no, fuck you. I beat you. Yeah, no, I love it, man. And I think that something was really fun in that first episode, in episode 5, where it kind of felt like a return to, I don't know how to say this exactly, but in TV shows, typically, in the first couple episodes, the characters are a much more exaggerated version of themselves, and they start to die down a little bit, so that you know what kind of person they are, but they're reining it in. It felt like we returned to them not reining it in this week, which made it a lot of fun. There's a couple points, like in Taylor Gray's voice acting and Stephen Bloom's voice acting, where I felt like they were really over the top with it. One of my favorite line of the 5th episode is when Zeb is stuck in the vent, and he's like, I don't want to die like this. I'm the last of my kind. That part. I think it's so fucking funny. And it's there's one that Ezra delivers. Oh, I can't remember what it was, but it's when he's taunting Zeb. They're like breaking onto the ship, and he's like, and it's when it's during the whole, well, I'm faster than you thing, and Zeb's like, I'm gonna burst past him right now, like that whole thing. Like it's a little ridiculous, and I kind of love it.
Yeah, you'll run right past the the crates or whatever, and they're
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, they start sprinting, they're right there, they're right when they start taking off. But I like the horror part was nice, and I think it actually kind of came through with Chopper the most.
Oh, yeah.
Or not, maybe not the most, but the dude just doesn't like the dark. He doesn't like being alone. So whenever the crew leaves him alone and he's just all in the dark by himself, he has he's wandering off, and the little probe droid is what scares him. He has like a freakish jump scare, and
Right.
and is all freaking out. But then with I guess as what's as more is it as Morgan? I think that sounds kind of right. I
In
don't know, I
the
feel like
second
there's another.
episode?
Is that the second one? Oh yeah,
Yeah,
It- well,
the big
yeah. That is the second
disgusting
one. Yeah,
guy
big-
who tried to enslave Hera.
yeah, with Hondo. Yeah, I guess that. Okay, I was thinking that Chopper got his payback in the horror episode, but no, I guess he didn't, because I was thinking whenever he like popped the wheelie and was just blasting the guns and just
Right.
blasting up. No, no, never mind. That was not the horror episode. So yeah, I guess Chopper really just kind of got really freaked out, and well, he got back. How did he get back to the ship? I guess with Zeb.
Yeah.
Is that-
Yeah. They reunite and they figure out a way to get them.
Okay. So I
I
guess
love-
he gets his payback a little later. It
Right.
happens next episode, but no, I
I'm
love
sending you a
seeing
meme
Chopper all
right
freaked
now.
out.
This is this like it can be Sabine, Ezra, and Zeb are all having a pretty standard. Oh, let's race down the hallway, and that's Chopper's subplot is SpongeBob in the dingy hallway.
Yes.
Having a nightmare
my-
episode.
Oh my god. Yeah, and it is cool, I guess, that Ezra's understanding him more, and I guess maybe he's just learning, just learning his language, whatever. But it does feel like Chopper's he's trying to talk more or a little bit differently. Like I'm
Right.
hearing a lot more, I don't know,
What?
every time I hear him talk, like, yeah, either what or what the fuck. Like there's so much what the fucks that come through with Chopper.
Yeah,
And man,
it's
I
and I think that there's this is a pretty common way to show that our main character is evolving and growing, because Luke experiences the same thing in the original trilogy. He starts to understand R2-D2 a little bit more, which I think is pretty cool, and I think it's a good baseline, and I think it's also a good baseline to show. It's never really occurred to me that some of them don't know what Chopper's saying.
Yeah.
I didn't know Zeb didn't know what Chopper was saying, which makes it all the funnier that he has beef with him.
Just on site. There's nothing else
Yeah.
needed. I don't know. It's just
I can tell this
sibling
this motherfucker's energy is he does not like me, and I'm gonna fight this fucking robot. I like that. It's very, very funny, and I appreciate that they point something like that out. It makes the culmination of this episode even better when Zeb works together with Chopper and they don't understand, or he doesn't understand him and stuff, and it's a cool episode, man. I really, really dig it. I think it's an underrated one. It doesn't occur to me a lot whenever I think of some of my favorite Rebels episodes, but when I look at what we've covered so far, it's probably top 5, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I really, really dig it, and I mean, always with anything with lightsabers, the animation is going to end up being really, really cool. I love the dark, dingy hallways and the way that those are depicted, and I appreciate it on the Imperial vessel whenever the fifth brother is like trying to track them down, and it shows the Empire's doubt in the mystics. They're like, oh, why do we need these guys? Oh, I hate them. They're so annoying. And I think it's funny to approach them from that angle.
Yeah, like, oh, well, we got this power surge. Could be anything. Could be blah, blah, blah. But then he comes up and he's like, no,
I
these
sense
are
what we
the
seek.
rebels we seek. Yeah, it's like, oh, okay.
And they're
then
like, all right,
Callus
fuck's
is
sake,
like,
set course.
no,
yeah, it's-
I will go alone. Fly home, buddy. I work alone.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
Bro is coming in there.
Brother
Yeah,
he's pretty consistently the cockiest motherfucker alive. This is
Yeah,
something that continues into Obi-Wan Kenobi even.
oh, yeah,
but,
that is him, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Okay. I guess I just thought it was a different Inquisitor for
No,
whatever
this guy,
reason.
he
but no, yeah.
maintains. He's the
Yeah.
same, which is cool. Yeah, no, he sucks though. One of my least favorite Inquisitors in terms of just characterization. Like, I really like the Seventh Sister. She's fucking freaky. I like that.
Yeah.
I love the part whenever she's like, "You may be pretty," and he's like, "What?" And it's like, hold the fucking phone, man.
What's going on here? He's like,
yeah.
Hold on. Yeah, I don't know. She is freaky, but but smarter too.
Oh yeah.
The kill is there, but she's like, no, we need to use him as bait to pull out the others. And she's evil, but smarter. I don't know, not just brute strength evil. But yeah.
Yeah, no, and there's I love her voice. Like you said, she's definitely my favorite performance of episode 5. Sarah Michelle Gellar as the Seventh Sister is really good, and I appreciate that she takes off her helmet and she still has the same voice, even though you think it's like a voice filter through the helmet. It's still got that like layered sort of tone to it, which is really, really cool. Yeah, one of my
dark side thing, or is that just like her
probably a
species
thing is what I'm guessing. I'm guessing it's a species thing.
Palpatine, like whenever he gets into full Emperor mode, I feel like he has this kind of echo sort of thing, and it is kind of like when you're using the dark side, it feels that like you're not alone. Like it's every dark side user before you kind of like a Bene Gesserit sort of, where their voices kind of all seem to blend together, or you have the voice. But yeah, I guess the fifth brother, I guess he's not. I don't know. His voice is just the same.
But that's why I did go with her for my favorite performance, because she's fucking cool, man. That's one of my favorite Inquisitors. Immediately, I think when it comes to my favorite Inquisitors, it's probably her and the second sister from Fallen Order. I thought she was a fucking great character, and I wish we could get more with her, but. It is what it is. That was a great story, the one story they told with her, so I won't complain. But yeah, no, the Inquisitor, there's a ripe bag of tricks they could do stuff there with. It's
yeah, I guess they know. I guess their main goal is actually to track down Ahsoka. Isn't that yeah? They say like that they know of Ahsoka, and that.
The apprentice lives.
Yeah. Is that who they actually thought this was whenever they were coming down, or they just knew like it's just some rebel activity or because the fifth brother does
now they're aware Ahsoka rolls with Phoenix Squadron, and they've already been heavily looking for Phoenix Squadron, because that's what happens when Vader tracks them back to their base, is that she's on board the ship with Kanan and Ezra and all that, and I think he was able to sense that, so he knows that if they go and find them, they can lead them to Ahsoka,
Okay.
But yeah, Ahsoka does seem to be priority number 1 for the Inquisitors right now, and
makes sense. Yeah. They're at the command of Vader, and Vader would now that
he's
he
like,
knows,
well, that's the apprentice of Anakin Skywalker lives. Yeah, no, he's definitely after Ahsoka, bar none. But yeah, no, episode 5 was really, really strong, and episode 6 is a fucking fun one, man. I think that like anytime you get Hondo Ohnaka in the mix, it's going to be a good time. Man, he was a great time, and he definitely. It's tough to go with anyone else for character when Hondo Ohnaka's in an episode.
Yeah, I gave him the double here for me.
Yeah, I think I would too.
The performance to Jim Cummings. I'm assuming it's the Hondo that I've heard every time that he's been on screen. But man, yeah, this I love how he's coming in. Like, oh, Vizago, then we have a mutual friend. Actually, then he changes his story just depending on what is just best for him. The dude is just the ultimate swindler. Pirate. I don't know. That is his game. But he couldn't really fit. I don't know. This is a perfect episode to bring him in, and there's they have to. Ezra's just leaving. He's like, fuck all this training. I need something else, and then they have to jump in hyperspace, so they're alone and they're off, and no one else is there.
Yeah,
and it's just
the
perfect,
good stuff. It's the good stuff. Yeah, no, and I love the characterization of Hondo. I think my favorite line of that second episode is whenever he's like, "Oh, the stories I could tell you, so many of them true." Like that's fucking hysterical. Like he's like, "Yeah, I'd tell you some stories that aren't real, but that's okay." So many of them true. He's a funny fucking guy, man. And I really, really love Hondo Ohnaka's presence. And I know that's everybody loves Hondo Ohnaka. He's one of the most universally beloved characters in Star Wars, I feel like, which is hilarious. But yeah, like, I appreciate the way that they allude to his relationship with Obi-Wan Kenobi and stuff, and the whole, like, one of my best friends was a Jedi, at least I think we were friends, and all that sort of stuff. Like, it's a really, really great way to give us some Clone Wars nostalgia, without being too heavy-handed with it, I think. I don't think it leans on it too much. It's, the character still stands on his own, and if you don't know what he's talking about in those moments, there's still a mystery about it. Like, oh, he existed during the Clone Wars. I'm an old Jedi sympathizer and stuff. You know, like, it stands on its own pretty well as well, which I think is good. But yeah, he's a fun character, man. I'll always love me some Hondo, and I love the way he loves Ezra.
Yeah, he Ezra, you know, he goes under the alias of Lando again, and it's funny, you know, this time Hondo actually knows of Lando, so Ezra's like, ah, shit, oops, well, I guess I got to stick with it, you know. He knows who Lando is, but whatever. And then whenever, I think it's, as Morgan is the one who actually lets him know, like, no, this isn't Lando, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Hondo, he says, you lied to me? I knew I liked you. And it's just, I don't know, it's a perfect sum up of Hondo here. Yeah, I had to really give him almost a clean sweep here. I guess the only thing that I really didn't give him was the shot, and it's chopper double blast and wheelie is what I put for the shot here. So I should have known it happened in the sixth episode, but no, yeah, Hondo came in here and just kind of swept the board. And I don't know, it's kind of impossible for him not to. But I did love the as my scene was whenever As Morgan was in there and he was about to. Is this the Star Wars equivalent? I know we had to walk the plank with a Sarlacc pit in Return of the Jedi, but is this the actual Star Wars equivalent of walking the plank just in space when you're in space?
Right.
It's just shooting someone off, you know, and just sending them to space. Just
yeah,
boom.
Probably. As far as the sci-fi version of it, this is probably more walking the plank. You know, we're even dealing with pirates and stuff. It makes sense.
Yeah,
but
an ultimate push. I don't know. You don't. It's not really a walk because you're forced down a track. I don't know what even to call that thing. I don't know what to call this walk the plank. It's
Tom
like
and Jerry contraption of some sort.
Yeah.
You know,
exit the airlock. I don't like.
Bugs
I'm trying.
Bunny type beat. Yeah, no, yeah. I really, really appreciated, and I love the concept, and I'm glad. There's a part of me that really wants something like this, and maybe Skeleton Crew will provide a little bit, but the Pirate Jedi, I want the Pirate Jedi on screen because we've got a Pirate Jedi in comics. Her name's Sav Malagan, and she is so fucking cool. Absolutely love her. It's during the High Republic. She rolls with Maz Kanata and Dexter Jetster, and it's a super fun crew. There's just so much fun you can have there, which is why, like, of course, Ezra was not going to do that, and I understand why he's not going to do that. But there's room for that, and I feel like that might be what we're about to get into with Jude Law a little bit. With Skeleton Crew, there's going to be pirates involved, and I feel like there could be something there. At least I hope so. If not, no big deal. But that would be fucking awesome. I love the concept of a pirate Jedi.
Yeah, I mean them trademarking or putting something down for Star Wars pirates gives some credence into them going down that direction. I don't know. It is a perfect way to just kind of have an excuse to jump around wherever and whenever. Like if it is a slow time and they're settling down, whatever. I don't really think a pirate really settles down much. They're just kind of always on to the next thing or on the run usually. So it'd be really fun to like just maybe it's not Hondo, but follow just one pirate and just see their adventures or one crew.
Yeah, their exploits. It could be a great time, man. That's why I'm like, I think that the pirate Jedi angle is a fun way to spice up the classic Star Wars swashbuckling spirit. I think it could be a great time. But I love that. I love the little shade that Lando gets in this episode whenever Hondo's like, I finally meet the semi-famous Lando Calrissian,
Yeah. Semi.
If I was actually, I would be like semi-famous, like it's the good stuff. I really, really like that.
Yeah, what would Lando's real response be there if Lando was in the ship? He'd be like, I think it's time to rethink our relation. I don't know, something.
See, Lando and Hondo would have butt heads a little bit more because Lando would have wanted a little more than Ezra wanted. He'd have found a way to steal all the money and the generators and gotten rid of Hondo, which is
they end up like Hondo wants 3, power generators, gives Ezra 2, but then Ezra's like, we'll split, the third power generator or whatever, and it's just 50-50 at that point, whatever. And like, I don't know, I think it was just funny to see the back and forth, and then it just ended up at 50-50 anyways. But then, I guess, is technically Ezra in Hondo's crew? He did join the hug.
He did agree to it.
A hug too. I think, right? Didn't he actually give him a hug there? And yeah, I mean, was very, very joined.
Yeah, Hondo's. He's past his prime. He's excited. He wants a crew again, and Ezra commits to it. I love that we get the shout out to Vizago for getting swindled by Hondo, or else who knows what Ezra would have had to do for him. Yeah, that little trade he made with him when he revealed he was a Jedi, and he was like, so what do you need me to do? He's like, no, nothing today, maybe something tomorrow. It was a lot more ominous then than helping him break out of his own brig.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about Vizago the whole episode. I was just like so focused on Hondo, and then like whenever Ezra just runs into him, I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot that's the owner of this ship right here. That's
right. Like, and Hondo has acted like he won it, but that's not true.
Yeah. Game of Sabacc, I mean, hey, that is sometimes how it goes down.
It happens. We've seen it happen.
The Falcon, or the ship we know. Happened to go down that way. But yeah, it was, man, I don't know. I can't get enough of Hondo. What a just seemingly two kind of a Halloween episode and then a Hondo episode. You wouldn't think that they do line up at all. But yeah, no, Ezra does have, if I were to go with any other character, it would have been Ezra for this kind of back and forth, and him being like, no, I do want to become a Jedi. Like, this is what I want to do. Whenever he saves Hondo, with the Force, and Hondo's like, I'm rich, I'm dead, and he's like, oh, he's like, oh, I know what that's you are. What's going on here. Yeah, he's like, oh, okay, the dynamic has changed, and this man.
He's like, why didn't you tell me? And Ezra's like, why the fuck would I? You know what's going on here. I love the whole thing, man. It's a good couple episodes, and I'm really, really they're really simple, but they're really fun, man. It's a fun couple episodes here this week, and I feel like it was a couple of goodies. It wasn't like the best episodes ever, but far from the worst episodes of the show so far. I don't think the show really has any worst episodes. I know that it has to, but like it doesn't.
Yeah, technically there is one that is at the
technically in a technical sense, yes, there is one that is not as good as the others. But I don't know which one that is, and I don't think it's these. So like I appreciated these episodes a great deal. Do you think we're ready for the trivia?
I think so. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think we missed really any part of the episode here.
I don't think so either. They were simple, like I said.
Yeah. So I think we're there.
All right. What do you got for me this week?
All right. This one, very, very simple. It is in the original trilogy, coming out of A New Hope. Whenever Leia is, I guess, being held by Vader, but actually under interrogation by Tarkin. They are in front of, about to blow up Alderaan, and Tarkin wants the location of the rebel base. And this planet, the name of the planet that Leia gives up, the location of the rebel base, could have been true, probably wasn't, probably was a lie anyways, but that planet is just all that I'm looking for, is what she tells Tarkin, where the rebel base is.
Gotcha.
Gotcha.
Dantooine. The base is on Dantooine.
Yes. Yeah, I figured you would get this one no problem.
Yeah. Mine's tougher than that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I settled on a harder one because it's a little too specific, and I wouldn't know it either. This was a learning moment for me as well.
All right.
So, also in A New Hope, we have the iconic sequence where our heroes get into a shootout down the hallway, and they descend into the trash compactor. Mm-hmm. This trash compactor gets a designation number. Do you know what the designation number of the trash compactor is?
Luke says it over and over and over. R2, shut down 117. I feel like, is that in there? Shut down compactor.
The last number is 7. I'll give you that.
Okay. I feel like how many numbers there are. I feel like it's 5, 1, 6, 7. Like it's like a 5, like a bum, like a 4 digit. It kind of feels like. The last number is 7. Okay. 17. I don't know why 17 was ringing a bell at the end, but maybe it isn't actually a 7. But immediately, my gut was 5317. So I guess that's probably the best guess I have would be 5317. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's just what I'm going to have to go with. It was the only thing that jumped out right away.
All right. Well, the answer is actually, it was 7 digits. So it was a big one. It's a long number.
Okay, he's really spitting
and
out
it was
there.
It was improvised by Mark Hamill because it's Mark Hamill's phone number.
No way.
It was at the time. Yeah, 326-3827. Shut down 326-3827. Yeah, it's
holy shit.
Yeah, he slides it in there.
Wow. I wonder if he had to change his phone number, or if no one knew. You know, did anyone really know that was his phone number?
Yeah, that's according to Wikipedia. Because they also say here that behind the scenes, Harrison Ford kept repeating his own phone number back at him, which annoyed Mark because the reference had been his idea. But they couldn't keep saying different numbers, and Ford ultimately settled on Mark Hamill's.
Wow. Oh man. Just threw out his phone. That's as an act, that's kind of cool. Like, it's not just random numbers. He knew he needed to say them very fast and very, like, needed to get every number out. So what better string of numbers to remember than your phone number, if that happens to be true. That's awesome, though. Okay. 326-3827. I get... Yeah, I would not have gotten there. 4 digits.
No, I know. That's why I'm like, it was a tough one. It was a tough one, but it was a fun little bit of trivia on top of the answer to it, so I figured I'd throw it out there. Yeah. Then that concludes this episode of Fulcrum, a Star Wars podcast, and we'll be back next week with episodes 7 and 8 in season 2. I'm very, very excited for that. And in the meantime, you can follow us on Twitter at the Fulcrum Pod for anything that we're going to be up to week. But more importantly, you should follow at Penny Bloom Pod, our flagship show, which will kind of tell you anything we're getting up to. This Friday on Penny Bloom Podcast, we're going to be continuing the Penny Bloom Dispatch. We're going to have a fun week, some entertainment, sports, science, all the good stuff. Very, very excited for that. We are currently covering Penguin, which is a great time. We just covered episode 2 earlier this week, and episode 3 will be next Monday. Cannot wait for that. And we are officially a week and a half away from the kickoff of Cinementalists. October is here, baby, and I cannot wait for you to hear our first episode. We mentioned A New Hope a couple times here in the trivia, and we get to discuss it next Friday in live commentary format. So head to the Cinementalists. It's already available wherever you listen to podcasts. We have our whole first season of Cinema Surprise over there. Go over there, follow, and on October 11th, you will be treated to our live commentary of A New Hope. You can watch the movie with us, listen as we talk through, and it's a great time. So that's definitely the priority right now. Go ahead and chickadee check that out. In fact, next week's episode, Season 2, Episodes 7 and 8, I think at the end we'll go ahead and tack on like maybe a little 10-minute preview from that live commentary, so you can get a feel for what we're doing there. You can check that out, and I'll find the 10 minutes that'll sell you. But yeah, that'll be that. And we'll catch you next week. Like I said, episodes 7 and 8 of Season 2. I can't wait to see you there. Leave a 5-star rate and review and download wherever you might be listening. I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. And remember, for light and life.